Hey everyone, hope you're having a great weekend. I'm not sure too many Minnesota people will be joining live right now, since I guess the Vikings are playing at the moment. So they might be a little preoccupied or busy with some other stuff going on. But we're doing another weekend reflection, and I've been thinking this week about this idea of, is Yahweh or God um, a humanist? And I think we can sometimes think that that's kind of a little bit of a contradiction, because often when we think of humanism, particularly in the last century, we think of secular humanism, it's been separated from religion and any idea of a faith in a divine or supernatural. But when you think of humanism in kind of its core level of believing in the potential of human beings and of building up human beings, you you have to think that maybe there's a little bit more um, to a connection between the ancient Jewish religions, the religions that Christianity is based on, and the belief that Yahweh creating the world and how Yahweh created the world, and this idea of human potential. That there's something within us that shows and desires to lift up human potential. And I want to look at Genesis chapter 1, verses 27 to 31 today. And I'm reading out of the New English translation, or verses 26 to 31. Then God said, "Let us make humankind in our image, after our likeness, so they may rule over the fish of the sea and the birds of the air, or over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over all creatures that move on the earth." God created humankind in his image. Got to jump 2 pages because they have a art project or art reflection in the middle of this one. Um, in the image of God, he created them. Male and female, he created them. God blessed them and said to them, "Be fruitful and multiply. Fill the earth and subdue it. Rule over the fish of the sea and the birds of the air and every creature that moves on the ground." Then God said, "I now give you every seed-bearing plant on the face of the earth, and every tree that has fruit with seed in it. They will be yours for food. And to all the animals of the earth, and to every bird of the air, to all the creatures that move on the ground, everything that has living breath in it, I give every green plant for food." It was so. God saw all that he made, and it was very good. There was evening and there was morning, the sixth day. And, I think of this where when you look at the creation narrative in the view of how it was given to us in the ancient Jewish texts, and then how it's passed on to us through the Bible, Yahweh creates humanity with this special purpose of being created in his image and partnering with him to make the world a better place. And really, that's kind of the essential idea of humanity. If we realize our potential, we can make the world a better place. And I think that there is a compatibility between those ideas when we look at it as the way God created human beings to be. And when you consider that in relation to a lot of the other ancient Mediterranean religions and their creation narratives, most of their creation narratives were about, the gods made humans because they needed slaves, And the interesting contrast, or the corollary to that, is, well, then the human or the king was usually seen as a child or the son of the gods. So therefore, well, not only were we supposed to be the slaves of the gods, we were supposed to be the slaves of the king and serve his purposes. But you don't see that in the Genesis creation narrative. You see more of a higher and more dignified view of humanity. And I think we need to remember that. And I think we lose sight of that today. and how this really kind of correlates for us today is a lot of times there are segments within theology that put a heavy emphasis on original sin and the fall of man, and that's a reality. Humanity does not always live up to its potential, and we see the results around us with a world that is influenced as kind of a corrupted environment because of the ways we have not lived up to this potential. But that doesn't mean that God looks at us only through the fallen nature and the distorted nature that we now live in and the corrupted environment we now live in. But sometimes when we emphasize and we put such an emphasis on um, original sin, and part of it is this crusading mentality of we got to have a big, we each sermon has to be an emphasis on how we are desperately in need of a savior because we are so bad. And but if you come to Jesus, you can go to the good place. And we forget that we have human potential and that God created us with human potential, and that before there was original sin, there was original good. There was an original creation in the image of God. And instead of focusing on all the things we've screwed up and focusing on what's wrong with the people, sometimes I think we need to encourage people to find the good and to seek Jesus as an opportunity to help them be better and help them live their great potential in a stronger way, in a better way. So, hey, just some thoughts I had on this topic. We will see you in a week. And God bless. Have a good week.